Let's talk about chemistry versus affinity. Now, this is what we're looking at here is how come it's so hard to have sexual chemistry and affinity, which is that compatibility, exist in the same relationship at the same time. If you have experienced so far in your dating life or your relationships that you might get one or the other. You might get incredible sexual chemistry, but then there's not so much, like it's harder to connect or there's more conflict. Or you might have like this lovely friendship bond where there's so much compatibility, but then the sexual chemistry is a little like, meh. If you've experienced sexual chemistry or chemistry in a relationship, you know that if chemistry is what's leading this relationship, it's fireworks. Like often when you first met, there was that like spark, that pull. You often get like giddy like a little kid and you can't be yourself around them and you're just totally being led by this charge, this intense, palpable pull where you just lose your mind, right? If you've experienced affinity, what I'm talking about in terms of affinity is that, oh, you feel so comfortable with this person. Like you really have similar ideas about the world. You can have amazing conversations. You feel really relaxed around them. They're like a good friend, but you just want to spend a lot of time with them because you click so well. So that's affinity. And what you'll often find is that it's hard to have both. If you're choosing chemistry, just know that in that relationship, you're going to have to work out how you resolve conflict. That is going to be the number one thing you work at is how to deal with conflict. If you are drawn to wanting that stability that comes with affinity, like that familiarity, that comfort, we're on the same page about a lot of things because that's gonna make it easier to have a life together or to do business together or whatever some of those pieces are, that's perfectly great. Just know that you're probably gonna have to put some energy towards working the sexual charge. So if you're asking yourself, you know, if you're drawn to one or the other, often I find that people are really drawn to the chemistry because we like that charge or that spark, that sexual pull. And the important thing to know about chemistry, if you think maybe I can like go with that and it'll get easier, or like I'll be able to work it in a way that this is going to shift into something that's a little bit calmer or easier to work or more stable, chances are, nah. Here's what I'll say about that, is that it's not impossible to have a long-term relationship that is based on chemistry. However, be prepared for that relationship to go through many endings and beginnings. Every relationship does, but when it's based on chemistry, there's often going to be a lot more conflict involved. And depending on how well you start to learn to navigate that conflict with each other, it might result in a lot of pulling apart and coming together and pulling apart and coming together. That might be actually perfect for the way you need to grow in a relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't get into chemistry thinking that you can actually make it something different.